My dear students, today we are going to be learning the concept of DTP terminology. In the last class also we have learned some of the DTP terminology. Now we are going to be learning some other important DTP terminologies. These are very important topics. It will be asked for 2 marks and 5 marks. So let us see. Our next topic is off-tone. So since the gradations in the colors of a photograph cannot be reproduced, so as we know in the gradation means the good resolution in the images we cannot be able to reproduce directly in the printing press. So if you want to give the good gradation color to your photographs, then we have to follow certain reproduction techniques of photographs. Okay, let us see. The printer re-photographs your photograph through a fine screen. So it means using a fine screen we have to redesign or re-photograph our original photograph, which produces a series of dots on its printing plates. So if you want to get a good resolution photographs, then it must consist of a good dots. As we know what is a dot, right? So if you image is produces a good finite set of dots, then it will print good finite set of dots on printing plates. This representation of your photograph as a series of dot is off-tone. So whatever the representation of dots in your photograph is called as off-tone. Large densely spaced dots represents dark areas of a photograph. So if your halftone consists of a large as well as a densely spaced dots, then it is called as a dark area, while small and white spaced dots represents lighter area. And next our DTP terminology is headers. Any information that repeat in every page top margin is called as headers. As we know, headers and footers, right? If you want to repeat the same information in every page top margin, then it is called as headers. Next our topic is indent, placing a copy further from right or left of the margin. So it is nothing but giving the spaces. So whenever you write the paragraph, you are leaving some space, right? But here the indentation means you are providing the space to your content to the margins. Okay, content to the margins. A first line indent is often used at the beginning of a paragraph. So here various kinds of indentations are there. Here the first line indentation is there. It is often we are going to be used in the beginning of a paragraphs. A hanging indent as the first line starting at the margin, but successive lines of that paragraph indented. So here the hanging indent is there. That hanging indent is applicable for the first line, and the rest, the successive lines of a paragraph is indented. Okay, so the rest of the successive lines of a paragraph indented means the first line is hanged, and means it is having some spaces, and based on that spaces it will take some space to your content. Okay, but successive lines of a paragraph indented often used in outlines or bulleted list. Here successive lines of a paragraph indentation we will see while we are using bullets and numberings. Okay, whenever you are using the bullets and numbering list, you will find these hanging indentations. These hanging indentations will apply the first line, and the bulleted list will have some of our spaces. So that is a hanging indentation. A left right indent where both sides of a paragraph are indented is often used to highlight a long quote or bright attention to a particular passages. Suppose if you are using the quotation in your paragraphs, then what you have to supposed to specify, you have to specify these left right indentations that should be very particular within that content. Okay, so these kinds of left right indentations we are used in the paragraph indentations, and also often used to highlight the quotations to bring attention to a particular passages. Okay, so mainly these kinds of information you are seeing in your college magazines, in college magazines, in the sum of spaces, it has been provided some quotes, right? So if you have your older magazines, please verify it. You will find these paragraph indentations as well as outline indentations. And next one is inline graphic. So the placement of a graphics within a line of text. Inline graphics means you are placing the graphics, you are placing the image within a line of text, within that box, within that fit area. That is called as an inline graphics. And next one is kerning. Kerning, the reduced spacing between certain combination of two characters, enhancing their visual appeal. Here kerning means reducing the spaces between the characters. Characters means letters. Okay, so if you are reducing the spaces between the letters, then it is possible by using the concept of kerning. It will be available in your word as well as in your DTP. So these are very important. These kinds of a technique we are using to reduce the gap spaces between characters. Okay, and we can fit more number of characters within a single line or within a paragraphs. And next our terminology is landscape. Landscape refers to a page or image is wider than tall. So as we know, it is a one of a orientation of your page, either portrait or landscape. Portrait means it is a horizontal, sorry, vertical. Landscape means it is an horizontal. So it refers to a page, means we are referring our page or image which is wider than tall. So automatically your page or image will be appear in the form of a wider, not in the form of a taller. If it is in the taller means then it is a portrait. So these are the some of terminologies. Now we will see some other terminologies. And next our terminology is leaders. A series of characters, usually dots or dashes, between two widely spaced characters used to control eye movement from one character to another more distant characters. So here the leaders are a series of characters. These usually it is appear in the form of dots or dashes. Okay, these between two widely spaced characters. So whenever we spaced characters, two widely spaced characters, then if you want to get the control of eye movement from one character to another character, then what we are going to be using, we are going to be using the leaders. Okay, it is just like as in a line. Within a line we are fitting our characters. And next our terminology is leading. The amount of space between, sorry, the amount of space below a typeset character expressed in points. A 10-point character with 3 points of leading would occupy 13 point of space, called 10 by 13. So here leading means the amount of space below a typeset character. So if you observe in your computer screen, or even if you observe this PPT, here it consists of one line to another line is space, right? So that space is nothing but a leading space. Okay, the amount of space below a typeset character is expressed in points. Here we are expressing line to line space, line spacing. Here line spacing in the term of DTP, here it is expressing as a leading. A 10-point character with 3 point of leading would occupy 13 point of space. If you are having 10-point characters, you are providing 3 spaces of each point, then automatically it will consumes 13 point of spaces. Okay, so it means 10 by 13. And next one is LPI. LPI stands for lines per inch. A measurement of resolution for halftones, the number of lines per inch. So if you observe here lines per inch, it is a measurement of our resolution. As we know what is a resolution, resolution is a good quality. The good quality of images is consist of dots, that half toned dots as well as ditches, right? Here half tones are the number of lines. So here the half tone consists of the dots and good resolutions. And also we are identifying the number of lines per inch. Okay, so lines per inch in the sense we are measuring the resolution of your dots. Okay, And next one is pica, the basic measurement unit for the graphic art field. Then what is the basic measurement unit in the graphic art field? It is pica. Okay, a pica is about 0.166 of an inch and is further broken down into points. So if you want to measure the graphic unit, it is called as an pica, and it is about of 1.666 inches and is further broken into point. Even 0.1666 inches is once again we are furtherly divided into points. There are 12 points per pica. So obviously for a pica, per pica it consists of 12 points, 6 picas per inch. Per inch it consists of 6 picas. 6 pica in the sense 12 into 6 and 72 points per inch. Okay, so 12 into 6 in the sense 72 points per inch exist in a 6 pica per inch. Okay, and next one is pixel. As we know, what is a pixel, right? The smallest picture element, it is nothing but an dot. Okay, the smallest picture element which can be manipulated by software, the individual bit in bitmapped. Here the smallest picture element which can be manipulated by software is nothing but a pixel. As we will see this notice in your paint, as we have shown, right? It consists of our dots, the individual bit in bitmap. So even if you want to represent in the bitmap, then individual bit is treated. What is a bit? Either 0 or 1. Here the bit is a pixel. Okay, point size. Next our terminology is point size. It denotes the size of type. It denotes the size of type. Point size specifies the size of a type. See pica. Pica is dot 1666 inches as well as the 12 points per pica, and 6 pica consist of 72 points per inch, right? So in the same sense, point size denotes the size of our type. If you are taking the graphics, then it is a pica. If you are taking the text, then it is a points, and so on. And next one is a portrait. Already we are familiar with the landscape. Now we are seeing portrait. Portrait refers to a page or image that is taller than wide. So whatever the image or whatever the page you are viewing, it may be in the taller size rather than the wider. Okay, and next one is a pre-press. Any and all process requires prior to the printing, such as the shooting of tones. Here pre-press. So as we know, what is a press, right? How the images are placing on your paper, as we have seen that video, right? So let us see this pre-press. Any and all process, whatever the process require prior to printing, before printing, it has to be pressed. Such as shooting of tones. Such as shooting of tone means whenever we pour the ink on the drums of the plate, automatically what it will print? It will print the half tone on the images, right? So it is possible because of this printing press. So it is a pre-press. And next one is the process colors. Let us see what are the process colors. As we familiar with these colors, also we are going to be explaining these process colors. The 4 process colors, CMYK, right? So C stands for cyan, M stands for magenta, Y stands for yellow, and black. These are the primary colors for every images it consists of, right? So one primary color is RGB and the secondary primary color is CMYK. So printing from these colors produces full color printing. Even if you are printing a good color printers, we are going to be using CMYK colors. So it is suggesting as printing from these colors produce full color printing. Color printer will uses these combinations colors. So some other terminology is proof. So proof is also one of a terminology. Let us see what is a proof. A copy of a piece for correcting by the client before the job is printed. So before we printing our books or any magazines or any newspaper, we should know what we are going to be getting getting print, right? So that is why it is a copy of a piece for correcting by the client. If once the system is printed, then we are unable to correct it. So that is why before printing that, if any mistake is exist in your print, then the client has to be rectified it. So the rectify copy is nothing but a proof. Okay. And next one is quick printer, a printer specializing in small print job using only one or two colors. So if you are using the quick printers, it will print the job very quick, but it is a easy jobs. It is not as in a large jobs, it is an easy printable jobs. Okay. But in your quick printer we are unable to use large printers, means we can get smaller information than what we are exactly printing in our flex. And next one is RGB. As we know, RGB is an acronym. It means red, green and blue, the primary colors used in computer monitors. What is the primary colors we are using in the computer monitors? RGB. Whatever the primary secondary colors we are using in the color printers, it is CMYK. Okay. Yes. And next terminology is rule. Horizontal or vertical lines used in design for separating sections or merely provide graphic element for decorations. Here ruler, we are saying as a ruler, it is a rule. We are suggesting as a, it is a rule. Horizontal or vertical lines are used in designs. We are using either horizontal lines or vertical lines for separating sections or merely provide graphic elements. So if you want to separate the sections, we are going to be using horizontal rule as well as vertical rule. If you want to provide any graphic element for the decoration purpose, then we are going to be using these kinds of rules. And next one is the small caps. As we know, what is the small caps? In our word, we have already learned about the small caps. The uppercase version of each alphabetic character reduced to the X height of the typefaces. It means whatever the characters displaying in uppercase letters, its height will be decreased. X height of that typeface will be reduced. Okay. X height means it's reduces its height. And next, that is why it is called as a small caps. Next one is tracking, the overall spacing between all character of a line of text. Here the tracking means the overall spacing between all character of a line of a text. So here we are identifying the space between all the characters of a line of a text is nothing but a tracking. Versus kerning, which refers to the spaces between character pairs. So here kerning, as we know, it is reducing the character space. Here the tracking means we are identifying the space between all the characters within a line of text. And next one is the typeface. Here the typeface are nothing but a font comma face, a specific set of characters, numbers, punctuations and symbols having the same design and weight. Here the typeface is a font as well as a face. Font face, here it specifies the particular character, particular number or a particular punctuation or a symbol, or is specified within that design and height. Okay, if you are taking the Times New Roman entirely, it has to be take the Times New Roman. Got it? So that is what exactly typeface. If you are using some paragraph as with some other fonts, with some paragraph with other fonts, then it is not as in a typeface. Here the typeface, it consists of even a single punctuation character or any special character that must be a same. Okay, a typeface family would include all the various weights and styles available for a particular design. Here in this typeface, it consists of a pre-designed weights and styles that is applicable for your designs. And next one is underline. As we know, what do you mean by the underline? A method for showing emphasis not usually used in modern typesetting. It is a method of showing emphasis not usually used in modern typesetting. The advent of bold and italic faces makes underlying a word almost absolute. So nowadays, if you are using the bold and italic, almost bold and italic is emphasizes that what is the exact content you are specifying or you are highlighting. But nowadays, this underlines has absolute, so it is getting vanish. This method is still used through for certain types of titles, such as the name of the court cases in the legal systems. So these kinds of underlines are still we are using in your documentation, such as here it is specifying as court legal systems. Whenever the court legal systems any cases are typing, it is underlined some of the highlight points. Okay, and next one is vector graphics, a graphics created with an illustration package and made up of lines and curves. So if it is a vector graphics, means it is a graphics which is created with the packages means available tools and made up of lines and curves. These packages also consist of lines and curves. Through these lines and curves we are creating the graphics. It may be your character, it may be any image, or it may be any symbol, whatever it may be. Vector graphics retains their sharpness when enlarged or reduced. So even if you are using these vector graphics, they are retains, they are persist, they are preserves their sharpness, and when enlarged or reduced means it gives a good resolutions. Okay, it doesn't have any false resolutions, it will give a good resolution. Some common vector format are CGM, WMF and EPS. So some of the vector formats are CGM, .wmf and EPS. So it consists of a good resolutions. These resolution graphics are formed through the lines and curves of vectors. And next one is white space, areas on a space, areas on a piece which are free of type, graphics and photos. So it is a area of a piece which are free, it doesn't consist, a white space doesn't consist any type of a text, graphics and photos, it is a blank space. White space is important in good design. So these kinds of white spaces is also required in a good design. It makes a piece more readable. So if you are providing the good spaces between the word to word or line to line or character to character, it must consist of a white space, and with white space good gives a good design and as well as a good resolutions, and also it is a worth for readable. Okay, I hope these are the terminologies of your DTP, and you should be very familiar with these terminologies. Hope you understand this concept. We will meet in the next class.